But a really interesting yarn, war chest for ADF bases. The federal government is promising to spend $875 million upgrading military bases next year as it heads to an election with defence and national security integral to its campaign. Barracks, ports, airfields, communication stations and all of those things will benefit, and the money will be spread across 234 projects in a program that will generate up to 1,600 jobs. In Victoria, $122 million will be spent at 29 facilities. This has got to be a pretty good sweetener for the voters in Victoria, which the Coalition are probably a little bit nervous in some of those seats right now.
Yeah, and look, I mean, you can't really go wrong with this kind of defence spending at the moment, particularly in the context of what's going on in Ukraine with Russia, and of course the little stalking horse, or not really little, but the stalking horse behind Russia, which is China. And we'd be foolish to think that they wouldn't be having similar thoughts about Taiwan and perhaps all the other little Pacific islands they've been spending lots of money on, you know, quote unquote loans. Well, they're going to come knocking for something in return eventually, aren't they? We have to be aware of all of this. But I would like to see this spending come with a promise that, you know, our military is actually going to be ready for this stuff, and when they're not going to be sitting around having these namby-pamby, you know, rainbow afternoon teas and diversity days and all of this sort of thing. Look, I can tell you for sure that Putin's army and Xi Jinping's army is not terribly worried about diversity. They're worried about winning wars. And meanwhile, we've got militaries across the West that seem to get terribly involved in things that have absolutely nothing to do with the military. Let's just have a strong army, please.
Yeah, it's just a simple request. More SAS and less sugary treats for the boys on Fridays would be great, I think.